called upon. He answered all the questions correctly. He just had a problem with the test, Jenny. He failed a lot of the tests. And so with that being said, Skip, unfortunately, he's going to have to repeat. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to advance him on to the next grade, Jenny. I am so sorry that this happened.
Well, that translates to franchise tag, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is what I want people at home to understand. Versus playoff teams that are in the playoffs, Dak Prescott has a record of 1-6, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. In other words, in the other games, he's 72 with 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Again, Gil Brandt was on Twitter, Skip, and he was asking like, oh, the Cowboys have all these yards and they have the point differential. And I said, I can easily explain it. You look at, okay, they played the Giants. You look at that. In the 6 of their wins, Skip, they had 8 wins. In 6 of those wins, they are plus 130. They are plus 130. Bad teams. Oh, Skip Bayless. So I was trying to say, I said, Steve, I really want to give him a C. Steve said, but he lost to Trubisky. I said, okay. Damn. I said, but look at what he did to the Rams.
Why would you want to give him a C?
Wow, let me talk. It's my turn. I'm talking. It's my turn.
You gave him Fs.
I said, Steve, I really want to give him a C. He said, Shannon, he lost to Trubisky. I said, but Steve, what about what he did to Wentz when they first played him? He says, okay, he lost to Sam Darnold after having mono for 4 weeks. I said, that's all you get us a D. The best, okay, this is what I gave, here it is right here, Jim. This is it in a nutshell. The last 6 weeks of the season, the Dallas Cowboys played 3 teams that are currently in the playoffs. They got 15 points against Buffalo. They got 9 points against New England, 9 points against the Eagles. I just need to know who's playing quarterback. If somebody else is playing quarterback, I'm probably going to give them an A because I can understand. I know Dak Prescott wasn't quarterback then, was he, Skip? He get a D because he was there for every game. That's the only reason. Because if he had missed one start, if he had one absence, one unexcused absence, he's failing. But he shouldn't be proud with that D.
So you are advising Jerry Jones to no way commit to Dak Prescott long term.
Skip, that was not the question. No, that was not.
Well, I'm making it the question now back to you. So if you're sitting in Jerry's chair and you gave him a D for his performance this year, there is no way you're going to give him $40 million a year for the next 5 years. No way.
Skip.
Because you're not sold on it.
Yeah.
I put it to you like this. You know that house up in Malibu that Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick bought? I'm sure there are other houses out there, but they wanted that one. $28 million in cash. That's what they plunked down. If you want to,
I looked at it and it didn't look like it was worth it.
No.
Seriously.
Skip, something
Looked pretty average.
It's just the
location.
location.
Worth is only what someone is willing to pay for something. This cup, I think they got 12 of them. I saw a case on back there. Undisputed probably played what?
Cool.
$4 for a 12.
Yeah.
A 12 pack.
But if you put this one on eBay, whoa.
If I put that one, if I put some of this in there and say that comes along with it, I can sell it for about $350.
Yeah.
See, worth is what someone's willing to pay. And the Cowboys are going to be willing to pay that because here's the thing, Skip. He can say, Jared Goff won 2 divisions. I've won 2. Walker 2 and Winston won 2 divisions. I've won 2. You see what they got? That's what I would. That's your starting, Jared. That's your starting point, Skip. So I'm sorry, I gave him a D. Anything less or anything more would have been uncivilized.
So if you're Jerry Jones, what do you do in contract negotiations?
But I'm Shannon Sharp.
Okay. Oh, so you're ducking the question.
I'm Shannon Sharp.
Oh.
Will you answer the question? Will you answer your
I'm
question?
going to answer both those questions
I would like to
pretty
know
soon.
what you're
And
thinking.
by the way, just for the record, I don't need anybody the night before the show to tell me what to think on the show. That's number one. Number two, I don't need to read my Twitter responses to let people infiltrate my mind to tell me what to say on the show.
Nobody feel it. No, I was just saying.
I wasn't saying this about you. I was just saying about you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I could have sworn last week somebody said something about 5,000 mentions on Twitter.
Oh.
5,000?
5 million.
How about 9 million?
Oh, so why you care about that? Twitter?
Up to 9. You're
Yeah.
right.
Hold on, Jenny, hold on.
Not responses.
Mentions.
No, those are impressions.
Yeah, I'm saying, why you care about that?
Well, you just do your analytics. Just,
But I'm saying, why do you care? It's Twitter, remember?
well, it just like shattered every record.
But I'm just asking, though.
Yeah.
But see, my Twitter doesn't matter, but yours Twitter. But go ahead, Skip. I see your point.
It's my turn. For the season, I'm going to give Dak Prescott a B because he put up top 5 stats all season long, all the way through yesterday. He finished 5th overall in QBR, and it should be 4th because Matt Stafford played only 8 games this year, and he still ranks 4th in the QBR rankings. And I don't think that should qualify, but that's just me.
Okay.
So I'm going to call Dak 4th in QBR. And yet, with top 5 stats, he was the quarterback of a team that finished 8-8. Why was that? Why did they lead the league in yards, but they were only 6th in scoring? Well, one reason was the quarterback didn't make enough key plays, game-changing, game-turning plays that he made all year last year down the stretch as they went 8-2 and won a playoff game against Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm going to dock him 1 letter grade from an A down to a B just because he didn't make enough plays when they counted. And I've told you what those plays were. There was one at New Orleans. It was the Randall Cobb play. And it came fairly early in the game. It was in the first quarter, but here he is, and he's got him open on the back line, and it's just off his fingertips. It wasn't like the worst throw in the history of throws, but it's a crossbody running the wrong direction. It's like 6 inches back this way, and he catches a touchdown pass, and maybe we're having a different conversation because that's a key win
My
right
homeboy
there.
put that in his back pocket.
Well, yeah, your homeboy threw for 174 yards in their win yesterday. You impressed with that? Because I wasn't. I didn't think he played very well. Then our next play was to Jason Witten. We've seen this before, but Marcus May is all over Jason Witten's back, and it's an obvious pass interference at the goal line, but they're not going to call it up at the Jets in New York, and yet it could have been a little better throw, and maybe he would have hung on to it. But Marcus May just took Jason Witten right out of the play, and it's a foul. It's just obvious pass interference. And then to the play in question that you bring up right and left and up and down on this show, and I will buy into it, is the Tavon Austin play. Dak actually made very good throws in this last-ditch drive, including the very last one to Gallup, but that's one. It's just like the Boston Scott play that I just showed in the Giants game, that walk it to him was throw it over him Wentz, which he often does.
Hold on, Skip.
He's often wild high.
What was the weather like yesterday in MetLife?
It was rainy.
Oh!
Yes,
Didn't
it
look
was.
fun.
That's twice.
Yeah.
Because remember the Monday night game, they played the Giants, it was raining also.
It looked drizzly. It didn't look like driving.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well,
Why
I'm just saying. Well, I watched the game.
So what's it like? What's it like in Jerry World?
Okay, so Dak missed that last throw,
Okay.
and I will give you that. And here's the key stat for this team. In goal-to-go situations, it scored only 16 touchdowns, which was tied for 23rd. So there's some plays left at the goal line that you could put some on Zeke, some on Dak, some on Kellen Moore, some on Jason Garrett for the play calling. But the point is, if you look at the overall stats, they're pretty sensational because Dak was 2nd in yards passing in the NFL. That's pretty great. He was 4th in touchdown passes, 30. That's pretty great. He was 3rd in air distance. So for years you told me it's Dink and Dak, and so you can't do that anymore.
He's not digging that. He's dunking that.
And he was tied for 2nd in catchable passes, 421 catchable passes. That's pretty great. So what did he have to put up with? What else hampered Dak Prescott? Why do I have to drop him to a B? Well, guess what? The Dallas Cowboys were last in punting in the whole NFL. Somebody should pay for that. I don't know, maybe the special teams coach. They were last in kickoff returns in the whole NFL. Nobody was worse on punting or kick returns, which means they were 2nd worst in the NFL in starting field position. So what happened to an offense that, by the way, was tied for 2nd in 3rd down conversions? You just have to go too far. So Dak's starting from his 6-yard line or his 4-yard line or from his 8-yard line. And he's really, it's like bing, 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 big 3rd down conversions. And all of a sudden you finally get down to the 30-yard line and inevitably somebody drops a pass because the Cowboys for the whole year
Or somebody misses a throw.
2nd in drop passes was this team. So, again, I'm being very objective with that B because Dak was up against a lot. He had to overcome a lot.
They did.
Because his starting field position was 2nd worst in the league.
So in other words, that explains the yards total. So they're moving the ball in between the 20s with nothing to
There's
show
only
for the
so much you can do with it. You know, he's not, he is human. I'll buy into that. I'll give you that. He's human.
So he ain't like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You know what? He ain't Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers finished, 23rd in QBR? Let me get that exactly straight. I think it was 23rd. Yep, 23rd in QBR. Really?
Hold on.
Aaron Rodgers yesterday had a QBR of 48 at Detroit, and they barely won.
And when you needed it.
It's ugly that they win.
And when your rubber needs to meet the road, your guy had a what he finished. You say, okay, 5th. You say 4th. I'll let you have 4th.
Yeah.
He had a great QBR, but where's he going to take that QBR today? Guess what he got, Skip? He got 2 hefty bags, and he's cleaning out his locker. My guy's getting ready for a game in 2 weeks.
I'm glad you brought up the Packers because they were the flip side of the Cowboys, or the Cowboys' flip side of the Packers, because the Packers kept winning games that made you say, how'd they do that?
Because
the Cowboys kept losing games that made you say, how did they lose that?
No, they don't. Because when I look at Green Bay, I said, I know how they did that. One guy, number 12. That's how they did it. How did the Cowboys lose that?
So,
number 4.
Dak Prescott had to overcome a defense that was 17th in takeaways. 25th in takeaways with only 17. They had 7 total interceptions, which was last in the league.
Okay, you got no playmakers.
They were
back there.
19th in sacks, and they were 11th in points allowed. Well, it's hard to overcome that when you're the quarterback on the other side.
Whoa! You making excuses for Dak Prescott. You never gave Aaron Rodgers when his defense was finishing 20th in points allowed.
Aaron Rodgers is in decline, and my quarterback's on the rise. So
I couldn't tell.
difference.
Did you see yesterday?
So here's my favorite stat of the year.
Which one?
Second in the NFL on first down carries was my man Ezekiel Elliott, whose jersey remains in my trash today. Remains in my trash. The only one other back in the whole NFL had more first down carries. Guess where his yards per first down carry ranked in the league this year? How about 19th? That stat alone tells you what Dak Prescott was up against, because again and again and again and again and again, I'm falling on the floor because it's 2nd and 11. It's 2nd and 10. It's 2nd and 9.
That's play calling,
It's
Skip.
2nd and 11.
Skip.
It's 2nd and 10.
Skip, just because
it's running in Cabo Sand. It's not the same guy.
But here's the thing, Skip. Just because you say you want to have a commitment to running the football doesn't mean you have to run the ball on first down every time. And that seems to be Kellen Moore. Doesn't have it. The only thing, okay, run it. You can't call a pass play on first down.
Predictable.
Pound the rock.